Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, this week, Ironheart released something that I don't know if anyone was expecting unless you follow the release schedule, but it's a lightweight N1 deck jacket. And I think that's pretty much a game changer when it comes to your winter wardrobe. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why I think that's pretty significant. Right, so yeah, but as always, I'm going to talk about how I'm seeing these items, and it's not just a review of the new lightweight N1 deck jacket. I'm going to talk about my own N1 deck jacket that you may or may not know that I have, which is a black one that I've had for a few years now, and you guys, I've done a few videos on this, you know I absolutely love it. But here's the thing, right? It's so heavy, it's so bulky, it's so warm, and it's just constructed so well. I only find myself reaching for this in the absolute depths of winter. So only, December through maybe even March, I'll be reaching for this jacket. So for the rest of the year, it just doesn't make sense to wear it. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't love this jacket. It has a place in my wardrobe. It's made for a specific reason, and it does that absolutely to perfection. But that is why today I want to talk about the new lightweight M1 deck jacket from Ironheart, and why I think that fits right in the sweet spot of jackets that you can almost use all year round. Before we get into the specifics, let's just cover off the M1 deck jacket in a nutshell, because it really does help to understand where this jacket has come from, to understand what brands like Ironheart have done to improve it over the years. So the M1 deck jacket was first issued to US Navy servicemen in about 1943, right? So it was during the World War II, and these guys were really working on aircraft carriers in and around the North Atlantic, the Pacific, some of the harshest maritime conditions that you can potentially imagine. So we're talking freezing temperatures on board an aircraft carrier, there's constant wind, there's sea spray, and you're doing physical work on those vessels as well. So it's a moving ship, so you needed something that was kind of fit for purpose there. So what do they do? The Navy designed the most robust jacket that you can possibly imagine. So the original N1 was made from what they called a jungle cloth, essentially a heavyweight Bedford cord, if you know about that, or whipcord cotton that was tightly woven to resist wind and water. And that's exactly what my one is. It's a whipcord fabric that is super dense, and it just stands up to any condition that you throw at it. And here's the key, right? It was lined with thick alpaca fur, not wool, alpaca. That combination made it incredibly warm. The design itself is pretty brilliant, to be honest. It's got this big rounded collar that you can turn up for protection. Those knit cuffs are hidden inside the sleeves, so they wouldn't snag on your equipment if you're doing work on board those vessels, etc. And then there was a drawstring, well, there usually was a drawstring at the hem to seal out the wind, and the zipper with a button storm placket over the top that just ensured that none of that seawater, none of those breezes got in. So you can see it was built for function and not fashion. So after the war, the sailors, they loved these jackets so much. I mean, who could blame them? They look so cool, and they kept wearing them, right? So Paul Newman wore his. He served in the Navy from I think 1943 to about 1946, if I remember correctly. And you'll see in the old photos of bikers and workmen just regularly wearing these. They're generally tough, but they're super warm jackets. It essentially became an icon, and that's why you've probably seen one before. So fast forward to modern day, and Ironheart have probably done one of the most faithful reproductions that you can do out there, but they have made some upgrades, and this is my one, as I said, and I'll just talk you through some of the stuff that they've done. One of the main ones that I love is the sleeves are quilted lined. So on other M1 deck jackets, the alpaca fur lining goes all the way through to the jackets in the sleeves, and I've had one before that had it all the way through, and two things: it was super warm, way too warm. But then if you were layering as well, and you had a thick pullover or jumper or whatever, it was all right because you could leave the jacket unzipped, so you had room. But once your arms went into the sleeves with the fur lining as well, it was just way too much. So I had to sell one that I had that was like that. So anyway, they've got the quilted lining, which is super nice as well. And if you're not wearing a long sleeve, like if you're wearing a t-shirt or whatever, when you put that on, it's like nice cooling effect on your skin, whereas the rest of your body is super warm. They added a YKK two-way zip, and I must say, this thing is incredible. Like if you're talking zips, especially with a jacket that is super big, sometimes cumbersome with your layering, etc., you want a nice zip that's easy to do up, goes up and down super smoothly, and that is it. This is I've never had an issue with this zip at all. It's amazing. I did lose the second leather pull on this somewhere along the lines. I'm pretty sure it had one in there. It doesn't now. But one thing is the pockets, they are lined with alpaca, and that is quite handy when you're outside in the sub-zero temperatures or really, really cold temperatures. Having the alpaca lining on the pockets is amazing. But the biggest thing for me, and you probably don't read about it online, is the pockets where they sit on the N1 deck jacket from Ironheart are in the perfect position. I used to have one from the Real McCoys, I think it was, and the pockets sat in a super weird position. So it made it uncomfortable to wear the jacket, to have your hands in your pockets for a lot of the time. And I made a video on that. It's one of my earliest videos, so go back and check that out on the Real McCoys N1 deck jacket. And when I upgraded to this one from Ironheart, worlds different, super comfortable. You just don't know what you're missing until you try one of the Ironheart ones on. But here's the reality of owning an Ironheart N1 deck jacket in the UK. I'm in the UK for now. And this is my personal opinion of owning it. I absolutely love the jacket. It is incredible for cold weather, wet weather, cold weather, all that weather, snow. It is amazing. It is probably the warmest jacket outside a quilted jacket that you can find. I bought a size large for me, and I'll put my measurements here on the screen. I think I'm around 81 kilograms. I think it's like 176 pounds and 6 foot. And I took a large. I take a large in their shirts. I take a large in pretty much everything Ironheart. And this one just worked. It's actually, as a large jacket, it's roomy, right? So for the large, I can layer. I can wear a 10-ounce Real McCoy's sweater. I can wear a thick, bulky, warm sweater if I want to, and there's loads of room. So I've loved the jacket. I've worn it every single year. I've owned it in the winter months, and it's just kept me warm. I wear it sometimes if it's a warmer day, if the sun's out on a cold day or whatever, I'll have it unbuttoned, unzipped, and it's just beautiful. The downsides of it, well, there's no real downsides, right? The only awkwardness is it's a big jacket. It's heavy. If you want to go somewhere and you want to take it off and not wear it, you have to carry that jacket. I mean, I know there's people like laughing at their screens right now, but it's something you have to consider. There's nowhere to you can't put it in your bag. It's huge. Sometimes when I've gone and you're sitting on a train or something like that, if you've got someone next to you, you're like, and you're really, it's padded. You sometimes feel like the Michelin Man. So there are things like that to consider. Last but not least, and like I said at the beginning, it's so warm that I don't really wear it for that many days or that many months of the year. It's literally a 2-3 month jacket of the year, and that's it. And it's an expensive jacket. At the time I bought it, it was around 630 pounds. What's that, like $700, $800? And they're an expensive jacket to wear for only a couple of months of the year. So this is the IHM 48, and it's their fall winter 2025 release. I think it only came out like last week. And this is where things get really, really interesting. So what Ironheart has done here is actually kept the same N1 silhouette. Same snap front, same knit cuffs and waistband, same utility pocket, same iconic look, right? So it's just the same jacket all around. From the untrained eye, you would say that is a N1 deck jacket from Ironheart. But they've completely rethought the materials to get more months wear out of them. Not just the winter months, a couple more months. So the outer shell is still that 12-ounce whipcord fabric. So it's still the dense, tightly woven fabric that stops wind, stops rain, stops all that kind of stuff. But it's what they call their jungle fabric. Now this is sulfur dyed instead of reactive dyed, and what the difference is there, the sulfur dye actually fades over time, and my original one is just reactive dye, so it just stays that same color. But these new ones are sulfur dyed, so after wear, and maybe if you wash it, it'll start to fade and start to look vintage like an original N1 deck jacket. But here's the big change. Instead of using that alpaca fur, that alpaca lining that we know is super, super warm, they've gone for a 6.2-ounce Japanese Ventil cotton. Now, it's still warm, but it's not as warm. So that completely changes the warmth equation, right? So you're still getting the same jacket, essentially. The same cut, the same outer fabric that is water resistant and dense and very resistant to wind, rain, all that kind of stuff. But you're getting a different kind of lining that is more wearable, more breathable, that's more wearable throughout the year. So from a super warm jacket that you could only wear roughly till about 5 degrees Celsius before you start feeling super warm, you're getting a new jacket which is looking the same, but you can probably wear it up to 10 degrees Celsius or even 15 if you're wearing just a t-shirt. So who's this lightweight N1 deck jacket for? Well, to be honest with you, I think it appeals to a lot more people than the original Ironheart N1 deck jacket. Why is that? Well, I've explained that in the video. basically the original M1 deck jacket is super, super warm. It's over-engineered for most people's modern day or most people's climates, if I'm honest with you. So for me, I only wear it, a couple months of the year, and even in my daily life, it can be a bit bulky on the train. If I'm going to an office, it's like huge. But it keeps me warm. It does what it's supposed to do, right? But if I'm an outdoor person, or if I'm in Canada or North America or whatever, and I'm working out on on a boat or something like that, amazing. It would be a great jacket for that. It's over-engineered for me, right? So the new jacket, the lightweight N1 deck jacket, still retains that original N1 cut, look, features and everything, but it's made with materials that are more appealing to people like myself, people that are going into an office, or people that live in a climate that is a bit more temperate or doesn't get as cold as much throughout the year, right? So I think and it's cheaper. It's 464 British pounds, call it $500. I could be totally wrong, compared to 600 and whatever it was for the original one, and $700, whatever. So it is, I'll put those prices on the screen, but it's a lot cheaper and you'll probably use it a lot more. Now as well, if you're into fading and the heritage denim wear and that kind of stuff that we feature on this channel, then it'll appeal to you even more, because these are sulfur dyed, and that means they'll fade, versus the reactive dyed ones that I have that does not fade. Now the new ones come in two colors. It's a black and it's a khaki, and they're both sulfur dyed, and they both will fade over time and look beautiful. So final thoughts. Look, these aren't cheap jackets by any means, and a lot of people watching this probably won't even consider buying one. But I think if you were going to buy one, the lightweight N1 deck jacket makes more sense for most people, based on all of those things I said, based on climate, location, where you are in the world, what you're going to do with it, and obviously the price. They are Ironheart. We know they're not going to break over time. They're going to last you a long time, and you can throw just about anything at them. So value for money, regardless of which one you get, is going to be there. It's a solid jacket, built for purpose, and they've got an incredible quality control at Ironheart, so you won't be disappointed either one you buy. And that is it. Let me know in the comments what you think. I've just rambled for a good 10 minutes on N1 deck jackets and new releases. I don't actually have the lightweight one. I've never tried one on. I would love to, but yeah, they seem to sell out quite quickly. So I'll drop some links down below. If you do want to go and buy one somewhere, I'll probably earn a little bit of a commission. It just helps me keep this channel running. And if you are new around here, this is the kind of stuff I do. This is a hobby. This isn't my full-time job. I try and put reviews and honest clothing reviews on the channel for you guys that are going to go out and make a purchase like this blindly sometimes. I want to try and help everyone with their expensive purchases. So give me a subscribe, hit that red button, because it helps me get stuff like that. Or my own N1 deck jacket, and bring it to the channel. And if you liked it, thumbs up would be really appreciated. And with all that being said, have a great day, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.